What's going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And this will be part two of our two-part series discussing NFL players who opted out of the 2020 season. And this is going to be the defensive side. And I'll mention special teams here real quick. No kickers or punters or long snappers opted out of the season. So I just mentioned that on the bottom here in black, as you can see. But all in all, 28 players opted out of the 2020 NFL season on the defensive side of the ball. And we have them in order: defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker, defensive back, cornerback, safety. So, again, like I did with the offensive side, I will discuss the key names. So, on defensive tackle, Eddie Goldman for the Bears. And honestly, he's the biggest name. No real big name defensive ends opted out. Linebackers is where we saw a few big ones. So Dante Hightower of the Patriots, C.J. Mosley of the Jets. Um, yeah, honestly, those two are the big two. And even Josh Harvey Clemens, he's decent for the Washington football team, as they call him. Again, not a lot of big names. And then in the secondary, DJ Killings, I'll mention him here, former Eagle. Sam Beal had a good shot at a starting role for the Giants, so he opted out of the season. EJ Gaines, is what he is. And then Patrick Chung of the Patriots. So, again, if you watched part one of this video, or part one of this, I should say, you'll notice the Patriots lost a lot of starters. They really got hammered. You'll notice other teams like, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Bills, they lost 1-0 players, 1 or 0. I don't really remember. I think one Ram opted out too. And teams like the Patriots lost a lot. So it is what it is. But again, this is the list. So I miss Sky Moore too. He's a respectable linebacker, I believe, for the Colts. What really stinks is some teams just completely got hammered. Obviously, you got linebackers for the Panthers, and they lost Jordan Mack and Christian Miller. Neither ones are big household names. But the fact is, they also lost Luke Kuechly to retirement. So that linebacker room, they might have picked these two guys or signed them or whatever and expected them to have a role. Nope. But yeah, this is the defensive side of the ball. I changed the colors this time. So I didn't discuss this in part one. I'm going to quickly mention it here. So basically, how it is if they opt out of the season, the team does own their rights for the 2021 season. So let's just say I'm going to choose a random guy here. Al Woods, defensive tackle for the Jaguars. Let's just say he was on a 1-year, $1.3 million deal. So what would happen is he chose opt out. If the NFL deems him high risk, he gets a $350,000, stipend. If the NFL does not deem him high risk, I think it was $100,000. So basically they're saying, here's some money. If some players actually didn't even get one, I know there was one or two guys that didn't get any money out of it because they weren't expected to make the team. They didn't have bonuses, whatever. But so again, in that hypothetical, the player's on a 1-year, $1.3 million deal. So what would happen is next year, I'm not 100% familiar on if they'll take the stipend out of his contract for next year. But next year, 2021, he comes back. The Jaguars say, okay, hey, Al, you're still under contract with us for the 1-year, $1.3 million deal. Now, normally, of course, he would be a free agent, but because of this, he wouldn't be. And that's the same with everybody. So let's just say someone's an undrafted free agent and they signed with a team and that team goes on to win the Super Bowl. They probably weren't going to make the team in the first place, but they would, the team would still hold their rights. And I'm sure there's going to be some teams that are going to have some players here and they're going to be like, well, hey, Sky Moore wasn't going to make the roster, for example. So we were going to cut him anyway. So we don't want his rights and they'll forfeit the rights. But again, this was a defensive side of the ball. Real quick video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day.